Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for coming down. Welcome to our lightning talk, composing a solution for composing documents. Okay, so today I'd like to share about basically our team at CPF board, our product called docComposer, the journey we went through with CStack, and then the interagency collaboration and communications we went through when we were developing docComposer. So I'd like to begin by introducing our team at CPF board, the Frontier Products team. So today is only the two of us, starting with myself. I'm Eugene, I'm a developer, and basically I cause problems for him.
Hi, I'm Noor. So our team is basically new. So back then we didn't have any DevOps practices cultivated within the team yet. So our roles is to bring the team up to speed on the DevOps best practices, and also we took guidance from Cloud Playbook and also the IM8.
Okay, I can come on. Okay, thanks Akmal. Yeah, so our team is actually quite new. We only started earlier this year in April 2022. So our team actually has two main goals. The first of which is to pilot new ways of tech, pilot new tech and ways of working in the CPF board context. And the second one is actually to bring prototypes to production in CPF board. So for the first point, well, in regards to new tech, our primary focus is in cloud native development. So basically we are trying to gain experience in deploying applications on the government commercial cloud or GCC, so that next time when our colleagues want to onboard to GCC, we can provide some guidance. Then in terms of ways of working, we're actually looking at build, run, product teams. So in this case, we work together and iterate together with our users to build our products. And then after that, we run the DevSecOps ourselves. So for the second point, well, in CPF board, we actually run various innovation initiatives. So one of them is this Made in CPF. So what Made in CPF is, right, is basically we gather staff from all across CPF board to work on prototypes for ideas. So the ideas includes things like claims automation or chatbot builders. But the problem with this is that prototypes are just that. They are not full-fledged products for everybody to use. So that's where our team comes in, the Frontier Products team. And one of our products is the docComposer, with a lot of other names. Okay, so what docComposer actually is it simplifies tedious documents by basically changing them into a form. So for example, let's say you have a form that you have to that a person's name shows up a lot. You can replace it with a variable over here. Or for example, if you have a conditional paragraph, then you can substitute it out. So basically, you need to convert your document into a template. This one will make more sense later on. So you then create a form on FormSG, so something like Google Forms, but for government side. You register both of them in docComposer, and then you share your form. So then whenever somebody submits the form, docComposer will actually insert all of their values inside the document. So where docComposer shines is actually for complicated documents. For example, a will. So a will has like lots of dry legal text that nobody actually reads. So with docComposer abstracting away all of this dry legal text, we actually reduce the mental load on the poor document filler, and at the same time, we ensure that the document is filled to specifications. So a brief history of this project. Actually, it was made quite a while ago, back in 2020, as a Python project in CPF's automation lab. However, due to difficulties in deploying the Python upgrades, and also the fact that the rest of government doesn't have Python on their laptops, we then actually had docComposer was actually redeployed as an API with Open Government Products, or OGP. So this was during their hackathon Hack for Public Good, but afterwards it kind of came back to CPF when OGP restructured. So a brief summary of the tech stack for docComposer. So currently, actually not currently, but it ran on a Dern stack, which is DynamoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. Then we used S3 to store the docx files. We used a Django container because we had a singular Python library that we're using. So actually our containers are all JS except for one Python library, one Python container. And that's just for that one library to insert the values. Then we are also using Amazon's AWS's SES and Postman for sending out the documents through email. And originally, docComposer was serverless, but then we containerized it for CStack, which Akmal will share more about.
Okay, our CStack journey. So CStack pilot program came at a time when our team is looking at where should we deploy this docComposer. Our constraints were our team size is small, and also we have to balance resources between developing this docComposer further and also managing the operation side of this application. Briefly, what CStack is, it is a cloud-based container development and hosting platform that is IM8 compliant. So what it does is that it allows any development team to deploy their internet-facing application and intranet application relatively quickly, and they can be rest assured that their infrastructure is IM8 compliant. We saw this as a huge benefit to our team, so we reached out to Alex, who is the product manager for CStack, and we get our team all onboarded to CStack. So for anyone who is interested in CStack, Alex will be having his lightning talk tomorrow at 2:15, titled Runtime at No Time. Next. Okay, next we want to share our team's pilot experience. Apart from all the stuff that you can see that the CStack team has done for us, I would like to touch a bit on how it impacts our DevOps. So the key benefit of using CStack from a DevOps perspective is that they already created a GitLab CI/CD pipeline for us with all the best practices and also all the requirements by IM8. All we need to do is to reference this pipeline in our project, and all the vulnerability scanning and also pushing to the container registry will be set up for us. There were plenty of sample codes inside the CStack repository, so it was easy to get started on CStack. And we managed to deploy our docComposer to staging environment, ready to be tested by all the users within a timeline in 2 weeks. So this is much faster compared to us creating our own pipeline. And all the team needed to do was to actually pick up a new tool called Argo CD, which CStack is using to keep our project repository in sync with the Kubernetes deployment. And also we had to learn how to write the manifest file to configure our Kubernetes configuration. Okay, however, there were adjustments that need to be made before we can move to CStack. One of the changes that we did is that originally our design was to run on Node.js runtime using AWS Lambda. However, CStack does not support serverless yet, so our options were to containerize our existing Lambda functions. So when we move to serverless to containers, it will mean that we have to manage the Kubernetes deployment, like the numbers of replicas, and also we had to write our own manifest. And initially we had used AWS API gateway, but we had to switch back to use Kubernetes ingress controllers. But by doing these changes, we felt that we could free up more of the team resources in the long run as compared to continuing using serverless, where we have to manage our own AWS accounts and also monitor the network traffic and other AWS components. Okay, collaboration with other agencies. CStack team was one of the teams that we were actively engaging during our deployment phase. During the sharing session with them, we seek their advice on what is the best practice to use CStack, and also we provide them with our feedback, and they also actually help us to explore other GovTech products such as ShipHash and also StackOps. Since our team is new, so whenever we had the opportunity to meet up with teams that has experience in running application in a production environment, we are curious to find out how their team is structured and what are the best practices that they adopted, so that we can bring this back to our team and help our team to evolve to a more matured, productive.
Okay, thank you, Akmal. Okay, so actually, one of our key partners is actually Open Government Products, or OGP. So they were basically instrumental to laying the foundation of our team, both in terms of tech and project management. So of course, the first thing they did with us was to hand over docComposer back to us, where they provided valuable feedback on our tech stack, our architecture, and so on. And then as key components of docComposer, actually OGP basically handled our endless queries on FormSG and Postman. So they were very, very accommodating to us. And they provided lots of technical advice to us on tools, pipelines, frameworks, compliance, build run teams, pretty much everything. In a way, OGP to us was like, in terms of tech teams, they were like our big brother to us. And for the rest, for other agencies, well, much like how GovTech and OGP have been supporting us in using their products, now it seems like it's our turn to help other agencies in using our products. So for example, actually HDB and MSF are actually some of our first customers for docComposer. So we're actually working with them now. So I guess in summary, well, we hope to contribute to the dynamic and close-knit government technology scene. Yep, and we hope that we can serve our citizens and our fellow public servants ever better. Yeah. So yeah, if you'd like to find out more about our small team over here at CPF board, like why are we even here, and or you want to find out more about docComposer, how you want to use it in your own agency, please contact us at frontierproducts@cpf.gov.sg. Thank you.